Okay.
I was like, I'm so sick of you. It's not funny.
Well, welcome. I am
Thank
on our
you.
Christmas set here with Jojo and Kelsey. So on the DJ and Lindsey team, we pride ourselves on streamlining every single aspect of the real estate transaction. So with that, we've listed over 450 homes this year in 2021, and that is because we have a listing team.
Woo!
So Kelsey to my immediate left, Jojo on her left. So Kelsey is our listing coordinator, and then Jojo is our photographer. Now our head photographer, since we have two others. Well, one and a half. So Kelsey, you joined us when?
I joined in August of 2020.
Right. So when August 2020, we were just beginning our large commercial buyer program as we were also like ramping up our listing side. Jojo, you also started.
Yeah, I started like 10 days before Kelsey.
What do you got? Is that a microphone?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I started.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I started like 2 weeks before Kelsey in August 2020.
Right. And before as we were training, shooting all these homes, I was also doing a lot of our other content creation. So I remember one of the first projects I sent you on, I said, hey, I need you to capture San Marco, Atlantic Beach. What else? Did I send you anywhere else?
Beachside, San Marco, downtown, basically anywhere that
just
would.
Capturing, and you just hopped in the car. You're like, this is great. And then
That was my first day.
Yeah, the faucet turned on and it was just all
Chaos for a year.
It's chaos. So let's talk about when an agent comes to us. Hey, I just locked down a listing appointment. I just got the listing agreement signed. Like, kind of walk us through just like how we streamline the process for these agents.
Yeah, so we first have them schedule photos. We make it easy. We have a link. We just share it with them. They go in, they put in their live date, all the information that we need that gets sent to both of us. So that's kind of like our trigger to start the process of, listing a home. Put it in the calendar, and then from there, it's just photos and getting all the information in, and then eventually live.
Now, so that triggers Joe to go out to the property. You think you have any good stories about like homes you've showed up to that have just been absolute
Definitely
peaches?
I don't know if we should share some of them, but yeah, for sure. Some are, perfect and ready to go. And then others, I'm not really sure if they knew I was coming. But recently, we're trying to always improve our process and always, communicating with the agents and the sellers to make sure that the home is properly prepared for when we get there. But in the past, before, our process was seamless, there was, I have some stories.
Yeah, some good ones.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you think about those, and as we come up in a little bit, I'm gonna have you probably tell one of those.
All right.
But let's get into how crazy do you think the market is right now, where we've seen some of these homes where they were being purchased at whatever the price point was with a commercial buyer to being relisted. Was that kind of like insight for you where you're like, at some point this is going to have to flip on its head, or this is going to kind of come to a halt? Like, did you kind of have those thoughts too, or were you kind of just like, whatever, I'm just doing my thing?
A little bit of both. With the commercial buyer, it's just been, you'd see some crazy price points that they were purchasing these homes for and then reselling them, and we were all like, how is this happening? Our buyer's going to buy these houses at that price in the condition that they're in. But ultimately, at the time, they were.
Right.
I think things have started to slow down, and people are starting to recognize that these prices are really high. But yeah.
Yeah, and that program has since stopped.
Yeah.
So now that program stopped, which is obvious that was going to happen, but since it stopped, our listings have also just exploded. So now we are seeing this seller influx. So how many homes do you think in the past, we'll call it 2 weeks, do you think you've been to shoot?
I would say 20 to 30. November was kind of just insane because our partnership ended with Zillow. So they're like, list your home with the DJ Lindsey team. And then out of nowhere, it was like 10 shoots, 12 shoots a week. It was just like this wave. Yeah. It was insane. The busiest it's been since I started. For sure.
I think August was probably our busiest month ever. And November kind of rivaled that. November was pretty close.
October, November. And then now I think because of the holiday, it's kind of just like
a little bit of a lull.
But
Right.
I think it's just gonna pick up again
Yeah, I think the spring
soon.
market's really gonna be bananas. So
Right.
now, Kelsey, you're originally from Virginia, but this is not your first step into real estate because
Right.
your parents are very involved in real estate. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, so I kind of grew up in the real estate world. I watched my mom. She went through being an admin for a long time, and then finally someone was like, "Why aren't you selling?" So she kind of got that push she needed, and she became an agent, and she's a super super successful agent in her area. And then she's now dabbling into investing, and now they own a bunch of investment properties in the Outer Banks, and it's just been cool to kind of grow up with that, and that's really what's established my love for real estate and just homes in general. Like I remember when I was little, we would like lay in bed and we would just be in the MLS like looking through photos, and it's just the funniest memory. But yeah, that's definitely how I got into my love of like home design and real estate.
Right now, is she as excited as you are to be like that? Her daughter is now in real estate, or is that kind of just like, oh my gosh, my daughter's in real estate? She's gonna rip her hair out.
Oh yeah,
No, she
yeah,
loves it.
she loves it. She's like, if she had it her way, she would make me move back to Virginia and run her business with her, but not gonna happen.
Virginia's too cold.
Too cold.
Too cold. And Joe, actually, you're not unfamiliar with architectural design because your degree is in architectural photography and photography from UNF. So
Right.
when you came in for an interview, showed me some of your prints, which you're the only person that showed up with prints. Not the musician, Prince, photo prints, but they were incredible. Like, I mean, just like the lines
Thank you.
and just, some of the kind of like the stoic buildings you were capturing. And it's wild because you actually weren't even using the proper lens, but the way you captured it through your vision made, not only did the photo work, it was beautiful. And I kept some of them. I immediately like ran home and I was like, these are incredible.
I
Like,
remember you were like, "Can I hold on to these?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I got home and Kyle was like, "You just gave him your prints?" He's like, "Well, what if," I was like, "Oh my gosh, what if I don't get hired?" And then this guy has my prints and I didn't even, I was like, "Oh gosh," but I was like, hoping for the best anyway.
Yeah, and I think I had called you that afternoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember screaming, running around the house because I couldn't stand still. And I was like, "Oh my God, really?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Okay, Joe."
Yeah, I remember you told me you muted the phone and you were
Yeah, I was like,
you were
couldn't.
screaming because, as you know, I can talk the ears off a deaf man, but
Right.
you're screaming,
True.
and now that I think about it, it's like I would kind of hear it go like pretty silent, and it's like,
I
yep,
like forgot to put you back
I
off.
was like, yep, okay, that's fine. Like,
I didn't want to
like
sound
toggling
crazy.
in and off of mute.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, spectacular. And now you're originally from Jupiter, Florida, too, which we have a brokerage office down there too.
Right.
So we'll be obviously looking to increase our footprint down there. Have you spoken with any leadership or DJ about like, hey, like, let me head down there?
I haven't, but now that we have another photographer, it is something that I was thinking about, doing. I have a place to stay if I ever needed to, shoot a home there, and I could just, go, and then we wouldn't have to outsource. So I have been thinking about that actually.
Right. And
It's
the
funny
price
that you
point,
brought
I
that
think, down in South Florida is slightly different than the
Yeah.
price point we have here.
Definitely.
Yeah. Even for the same size home.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. So I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're talking about how for even the past, I think it was like 3 or so years now, St. Johns County in this area is like the most moved to county, which is crazy because the price point is still okay, right? It's not like insane, although it is climbing. I mean, have you seen, what would you say I don't even know if you can get into percentage, what the increase has been on just like an average 2,000 square foot home? Like, let's say it was $250,000 now. Are you seeing it's approaching that 300 mark, or could be depending on like the amenities? It does have pool home, right?
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the amenities and the upgrades in the home. But I mean, St. John's is definitely a really great area, and I think it's highly desirable. So I would expect it to go up.
So this is kind of funny, and I was thinking about this 2 days ago, is when we would get a pool home that would come on the market, just insane. Like, I mean, I think it was like, it would go live. First of all, we do a huge pre-marketing thing in our industry, and because we can't do coming soons,
Right.
but we figured out a way to do a coming soons in pre-market to, we're not going to disclose that, but we figured out a way how to do that. So when we would have these pool homes, I just like half the time it was just like, okay, how quickly can you get a picture of this pool just on the MLS or in the hands of some of our buyers because
Yeah.
it's just an absolute feeding frenzy.
Right.
It was insane. I remember we did I think it was actually our first open house, right? It was like our first
Yeah.
open
I
house.
remember
Yeah.
that.
There was a pool home in St. Johns County over by World Golf Village. And they had offers on it before. We're like, all right, let's not do anything. Let's just do an open house. Like, let's try and build the hype. And it was just like word of mouth. It was just like, oh, yeah, like Brett's listing a pool home. And it was just like, boop, boop,
Right.
boop, 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 boop. And offers were just like
Right.
blowing up Brett's phone. He was just like, yeah, it's not even on the MLS
Yeah.
yet. Like, what are you doing?
That was
Yeah.
insane.
So now it's looking towards 2022. What are some goals that you guys have set out? Because I know we obviously were all together for a big kind of like offsite OKR. What are some of those goals that you guys have going into 2022?
We have a goal of hitting 1,000 listings next year.
Okay.
We will be at around 200 this year, not including our commercial buyer.
Mhm.
So just all of our in-house listings are about 200. So we're gonna try to hit 1,000. We have a lot of goals to put more processes in place, just kind of making everything a little bit better.
Right.
So I think we can do it.
For sure.
How many
yeah.
homes is that a week?
It's probably about 20 homes
20,
a
That's
week.
20 homes a week. So I think at least the past 2 weeks, we're like right there. We're in
Halfway,
Between like,
yeah.
in between like 30 and 40 over the past 2 weeks. So
Mhm.
kind of on pace going into it.
Yeah. We
And
just
I know that there are some new programs coming out that we won't discuss, but that will just really
Yeah.
take over.
It's gonna get crazy.
And it's funny. So not that you're a part of my team, because Joe's technically a part of my team, but
Right.
you work so closely with us that you even have like a little bit of a marketing niche that you've fallen in love with.
Yeah.
What is like your big play here? Like what do you want to do when it comes to listing and marketing our listings? What would you like to do? What would you like to see?
I just want to get our name out there. Like, I mean, more than it already is.
right.
I would love to just do like a big like EDDM campaign and just get it out there. And,
Right.
I don't know.
So digital has its footprint and has its pathway,
Yeah.
but sometimes there is a way of reaching the customer kind of like in that old school, just like one-to-one.
Postcards.
Yeah, and it works. I think there's a lot of different opinions, and it's not cheap to do things
Mhm.
like that. So it's gonna take money, but I've seen it personally in companies that I've worked for that it works really well, and I'd love to just create a big old farm.
Right. So this is interesting. So you input essentially all of these listings into the MLS.
Yeah.
So you see Jojo's work very closely.
Yeah.
How do you think it fares to some of the other stuff we've seen on the internet?
There's some bad pictures out there.
It's pretty wild. The one you sent the other day, and I think we'll have Matt maybe flash on the screen.
someone's
It
thumb.
was just a thumb. It was a straight up listing photo of just someone's thumb. Yeah.
Like, great
Yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some crazy pictures out there. It's really baffling because I'm like, how did you think you would sell this house with photos like this? I mean, so but
Yeah.
yeah, no, Joe's pictures are awesome, and I feel like they just keep getting better and better. So
Yeah. What kind of confidence does that give you that you just show up like one eye open, not even looking, just like, and still
Well,
take better photos?
Definitely come a long way. I'm always trying to improve,
Right.
the process, my process. We can all get better in one way or another. But it is nice to have, a great support system of you guys and the team just, encouraging me and saying, this looks great, but also giving me, constructive criticism. But now I could just go in a house, depending on the house, 30 to 45 minutes, I'm in and out. So that'll be great for when we do get more listings. We can kind of probably add more time slots for photos now that
Right.
there's a quicker process.
And you now have a protege yourself. You are now
Yes.
training. Yeah. She's awesome. She's great. She's clicking.
She's eager to learn, and I love that.
Yeah.
So
That's excellent.
I think she'll be a great.
You
asset.
shared with us, and again, maybe we'll flash on the screen. It was a beautiful, absolutely beautiful photo of this dining room, and just dead middle of the frame, on top of one of these high back chairs,
Mhm. A cat.
a cat.
It worked though. Like normally I'd be like, psst, like,
Yeah.
get out, get
Yeah.
out. But he was just looking at me, and he was just like, I'm the model, and I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just take a picture and then move the cat and take another picture. But I ended up keeping the cat, and the seller actually reached out and was like, these are great, like loved that, and I was like, cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's been plenty of times because we know you never know who's going to be buying this home. So
Right,
whether it's
right.
an allergy thing, a personal preference, which I don't trust people who don't like dogs, but it's fine. But Right. We're always trying to like, shoot properly or rope those things off and get rid of them, which is like sad in a way, because that's like also a part of the character of the home, is that like, there's like this actual other living person in it that like belongs with it, but not really. So we're going to try and list 1,000 homes.
Yes.
Are you prepared for that?
Are you?
Yeah.
You're prepared to do 1,000 homes.
We are ready.
We took on so much last year. We
Yes.
could do anything at this point.
That is true.
Like it hit us like a bulldozer. So I don't think we can't do anything at this point.
Right. All right. What else would you like to see implemented, do you think, if you could be like, I would love to do this? What would it be? Other than take a vacation.
I mean, both of us really want to get into $1 million listings. That's like a goal, long-term goal. But I would love to be shooting, these massive, beautiful houses on the water. And I think eventually we'll definitely get there.
I think your work could hold a candle to any of those. Like, I think you've not only have you come along, because I remember
Thanks,
we
Todd.
we talked about this. Your first couple shoots, like we were back and forth on like me. She's like, hey, I would do this, do this, do this.
Right.
But once it kind of like, you were like a sponge and it just like clicked. You, Kelsey, obviously fell in love. Now we're in a thruple because we all work together. But we work so closely, especially right. Kat, Reagan, Matt, like Rich, we all work so closely together that we almost have to work as this like machine of like, hey, like, look how beautiful this photo is. You throw it to her, she throws it on social media, right? Like it's all this, it's just this working machine that we're constantly trying to grow and move and evolve. And it really wouldn't happen without either the two of you. And I'm sure agents, I know I more than love and appreciate you guys. I'm sure the agents are too, because you know what? They pretty much just like get the listing agreement signed and then
push
the girls
it over
take
to
it away.
us, right?
Yeah. Any Christmas list ideas right now?
Okay. I'm just kidding.
Before we close out, do you have any just absolutely wild stories that you could throw off the top of your head?
Sure.
All right. What do you got?
So I walked into this house that was supposed to be properly prepared. They all are. I'm all expecting it. But there was just 1 week of just crazy, like they just weren't ready. And I walked into this house and instantly just, smelled like animal. And she had 6 chihuahuas just like running at my feet. And she's like, they're friendly. I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to get in and out. I don't want to waste any time like handling your dogs. And I kid you not, they start like peeing and pooping right in front of me. And how awkward for me to be like, ma'am, your dog's pooping. And she's like, oh my God, as if like it was the first time ever. And then they started peeing. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm just less is more. I'm going to do 10 photos.
That's when you go to the picture of the thumb and put it right on.
Right. I'm like, okay, let me just, it was awful. It ended up selling because all of our houses sell.
Right. That's
but
true.
It's just weird. Yeah. Weird things like that.
I remember the one house, this was just at least off the top of my head. You go in, it's like a ranch. It's a little bit west of here, so it's not that shocking that it had like a country-er vibe.
Okay.
And the one bedroom was, not only did it have like just packed with stuff, there were just like multiple guns just like on the wall.
Yeah. That was
like,
south.
And west.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere. That was one of my first listings that was like really far and really like, I was like, I'm going to keep you on speakerphone the whole time. Yeah. But there was no one there either.
Right. It was vacant, so to speak.
I had to go to his house, which was across the street, through this fence, knock on his door. He opened the door where he's like, oh, sorry, I'm giving my dog a bath, but you can come in and sit on the couch. And I'm like, okay. And his dog's just like wet in his hands and he's like all wet. And I'm just like, okay, I'll just, sit on the couch. I'm scared. And he's like, yeah, all right, I'll let you in now. And I'm like, you could have just gave me the key.
Right.
He walks me over there and it just, wasn't properly prepared. There were guns all over the place. And I was just like, well, I might not come back, you guys.
It's been so much fun working with you guys.
Right.
This might be it for me.
No, weird things like that happen, but I feel like I'm pretty composed to handle, any weird situation like that and make it quick.
Right. Well, again, we absolutely love and appreciate you guys.
Vice versa.
Yeah, our listing team and our company would honestly not have, grown the way it did without the two of you. So thank you.
Now, Kelsey.
Which was my vote for the Be Kind Award. I voted for
Aw.
Chelsea.
Everyone's gonna be like, "Who's that?"
Chelsea Cannies.
Oh, that is so nice.
Hopefully,
anyway.
we'll win because we are kind. Cut that out.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, thank you both. Love you both, and we'll see you guys in 2022.
Thank
you.
you.